Hey guys, welcome back to Me, You, and the Blended Crew.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Randy. We have a super interesting episode today having to do with our DNA.
Yes, so a lot of you have requested, we get the question all the time, what are you? And aside from human, I think nobody ever gets it right, especially for him.
No, 100% of the time that folks have been wrong, and there are some very common answers that I get all the time. And then I got some really interesting stuff, and you were there for the last one.
Yeah, the last one was, we were out for brunch or something, and the guy, when we weren't even asking, he's like, are you Croatian? And he was Croatian. So you would think that a Croatian can identify another Croatian. So
the thing that's interesting about, well, me, is depending on the time of year and the tan and the complexion, I can almost fit in anywhere.
That's true. It's hard to pinpoint like what ethnicity you are. Like I remember when we first met, I wasn't sure what you were. So
all right, everybody, take a good look at this mug right here. We're gonna probably zoom in and take a little photo and see what you think. Put in some guesses right now. Put the comments in right now at the bottom of the screen, and let's see what you can come up with. Where do you think this mug is from? And give it your best guess. And then you'll be pleasantly surprised at the end of the episode.
Let's see who gets it right. And we know who would. We know who would. All right,
because so the folks that know me cannot guess.
Yeah. If you know us personally, no. You cannot guess because you
Anybody else, open season. Yes. Give it your best shot.
Let's see who gets it first.
Is it the chin? Is it the nose? I don't know.
Anyway, so we went ahead and did our DNA.
Ancestry DNA, to be precise.
Yes, and the results are in.
Maddie, would you like to go first?
Why? Because I'm less interesting than you?
No.
Did you ever wonder what I am? Or did you know off the bat? And what gave it away?
I knew you're Dominican, and that's all there's to say. That's it. You just have the features, the complexion, everything about you just screams Dominican.
I knew it. Oh. I knew it. Well, no, I actually do get also people guessing what I am, because some people think I'm some sort of like Asian and black. Mm-hmm. Or and then it's like it's Latina, but what kind of Latina? Because I've gotten. Oh, I remember one time a guy was like, are you caleña? And I wasn't sure what a caleña was at the time. I didn't know. Yes, caleña is from Cali, Colombia. So, I was at a Colombian club, so everybody there was mostly Colombian. So he just assumed, I guess, darker people are from Cali. Or there are a lot of dark people in Cali. I'm not sure.
Well, you put yourself in that environment. So.
Yeah. But then I've gotten, like African-American, biracial. Yeah, and actually someone once thought I was Filipino.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting, but I think it was also because the person knew my name. And apparently I have a very Filipino name.
Yes.
So that may have been common. Yeah, that may have been the reason, because my last name is a prominent name in the Philippines. Oh. Actually. Yeah, so I found that out because I was like, Filipino?
Let them know what the name is.
No, I'm not gonna let them know what the name is.
Well, I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. So people always, and that becomes like a topic of conversation whenever we go out. Like people just like to guess what we are. And since we always hashtag our videos blended or mixed or whatever, it's in part because we're blended, we're mixed, but in more ways than ethnically, because it's our families that are blended and mixed.
Our children, even more so. So yeah, I have a ton of suggestions that people make when they're trying to figure out what I am, and it's really just from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's ranged from the most common being, you must be Puerto Rican. I get that all the time. Depending on the time of year,
yeah, I don't see Puerto Rican.
I look like Derek Jeter, and
I don't think you look like Derek Jeter.
And then other times of the year when I'm a little more tan, I get the A-Rod. Look a little bit like A-Rod.
But that's like doppelganger, and I think that's chicks that like you.
And then, quite possibly, but it's also baseball fans, male, female baseball fans. And then I've got Cuban, I've got El Salvadorian, I've got Colombian, I've got Brazilian. I got a lot of Brazilian.
But never what you
Italian?
really are.
I've got Italian. You thought I was Italian.
I thought I thought you were Italian.
I've got Italian. I'm probably forgetting so much more. Croatian, Iranian. I've gotten so many different guesses, and it's really interesting. Wait till you hear the results. You got to stick around for this.
Yeah, but it's never what he actually is. Nobody ever guesses.
No, 100% of the time, no one will ever guess. And even when I tell them, they're like, "No way."
Yeah, no,
they
don't believe it.
It's not possible.
So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead with my results.
Let's have it.
Okay, so I am 26% Cameroon, Congo, which is in Africa. 21% Benin, Togo. Now, I had gotten results before, and these are my updated results. Apparently, they've refined the system.
That's the biggest percent?
Yeah, that's my biggest.
Cameroon?
Because initially it was Nigerian, and then they switched it.
Oh, my.
So I was not even in my first results. I wasn't even Cameroon. I was Nigerian. And now it's increased by 26%. Yes, Cameroon, Congo, Benin, Togo, 21%.
Well, hold right there. So, in case any of you have done your DNA in the last couple of years, we encourage you to go back and revisit your results, because apparently sometime between the last half of 2018 and now the beginning of 2019, they've updated their system, and they've got more specific data. So if you haven't checked your ancestry DNA specific results in a while, I encourage you to go back and check it out, because this is even more interesting.
Yeah, this changed everything, because I already thought I knew what I was, and now they switched it up on me again. Like, I wasn't confused enough to begin with. So I'm 13% French.
Oh.
Oui. That's why I like croissants so much. I am 12% Portuguese.
Fala português.
No, I don't. And 5% Mali, which is African. It's in the African continent also. I am 5% Spanish from Spain.
That's familiar.
4% Native American from North, Central, and South America. 3% Native American Andean.
Oh, you went all the way down the line.
Yeah, it's several pages, because I'm a lot of things.
Okay.
3% Ivory Coast, Ghana. 2% Irish and Scottish. 1% Sardinia. 1% Nigerian, so it decreased by 19%. That was one of my main concentrations before, but now it's reduced. 1% Italian, which was initially I was 19% Italian, but now they figured that it's
a mistake.
It's something else. I'm 1% Africa North. 1% Jewish. 1%.
Oi.
Oh, I'm celebrating every holiday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm all for Hanukkah. I'm all for Kwanzaa. I'm all for everything.
Let's do it.
I'm 1% Africa South Central hunter-gatherers. We're gonna go back to that, because I found out what that meant.
Okay.
And then additional communities are Spaniards, Cuban, Dominican.
Less than 1%.
And Venezuelan, which is where my family is from, the Dominican Republic. The ones that dropped off from my initial were African Southeastern Bantu, Senegal, Scandinavia, Great Britain.
And Scandinavia was Senegal was 7%.
17% Bantu.
Africa, Senegal. Southeastern Bantu, 17%. That's off the map.
That's
now.
a big difference.
That's a huge change.
So I'm all confused all over again. I thought that I was good with what I was, because initially I was like, wow, I'm a lot of things. But so that is what I am. And in the map, pretty much my ancestors
we'll have to show you.
Yeah, they were like Rolling Stones. They were all over the place.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say about the hunter-gatherer is that the hunter-gatherer, South Central African history says that the African South Central hunter-gatherers, that region is made up of ancient hunter-gatherers and pastoral groups who, though small in number and physical height, which explains why I'm so short, are considered the wellspring of human population around the world.
All right,
that is me.
Control yourself. Okay.
All right, your turn.
All right, are you ready for this?
Nobody's ready for this.
I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, the biggest percentage is 41%. So, any guesses, anyone? Any guesses?
That's what you should really identify as.
Yeah. And I do, in part.
Yeah,
indirectly.
Yeah.
It's French. 41% comes back as French. Beyond that, everything is less than 15%, but I'll go down into some detail. We got Benin, Togo, 13%, that's Africa. Cameroon, Congo, 9%, also Africa. Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. I know nothing about that as far as my history
We got to talk to your father
7%.
about this. And your mom.
Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I cannot talk with an Irish brogue, so don't expect me to go. European Jewish, 7%.
Wait, but will you wear a kilt for me?
I will wear a kilt for you. Portuguese, 5%. Spain, 5%. Italian, 2%. So, when people guess I'm Italian, they're really not terribly wrong.
No, but come on, you're just
not-
2%. It's just like a drop. Like
little-
just like a little, like,
little-
boop. Like it's just like this part of you is Italian.
And then, okay, so beyond that, Eastern Europe and Russia, 2%. Ivory Coast, Ghana, 2%. Again, Africa, Nigeria, 2%. Great Britain, 1%. Mali, 1%. Native American, 1%. Basque, Senegal, 1% each. And that's about it. It's pretty diverse.
We are a real mixed bag.
And
of
I've
things.
always considered myself a mutt, but I fall back and tell people based on where my parents are from, and they were both born in Haiti. So if any of you guessed that I'm Haitian, you won the bet. And I can almost guarantee nobody did. But for all intents and purposes, French folk migrated out and moved down to Haiti to escape the war. The same for many other countries, German and Polish, which is some of my ancestors, grandparents, moved on to Haiti to seek refuge from the war. So that explains a lot of the movement from Europe out and down into the Caribbean. But 41% France, that's not the number that I had before.
No,
That
I'm actually
changed.
surprised. I didn't think.
changed
I mean, I knew you were
substantially.
French, but I
That
thought
changed.
that there was like a little bit more German. Honestly, a little bit more German, a little bit more.
I was looking, that's the European Jewish.
Yeah,
so
but
7%.
I just assumed that there was more. However, if you guys know, I'm from the Dominican Republic, and
I was
he's from
born
Haiti.
here, but my parents are from Haiti.
Well, I was born here also, but if you don't know, we share an island, and it's the island of La Hispaniola. So on one side it's Haitian, the other side is Dominican. Two nations that they have an interesting relationship.
Interesting history.
Yes, with each other. And we were both colonized by the Europeans. However, Haiti was colonized by the French, and the Dominican Republic was colonized by the Spanish.
Very differently.
Yes, and so on the same island, we speak different languages.
That's right.
So on the Haiti side, it's French and Haitian Creole.
It's Creole, and then the national language is French, but in the street they speak Creole. And I have to actually check because Creole has become recognized here, and it's only been a written language in the last, I don't know, I want to say something like 10 years or so.
Well, actually, when I'm hiring staff, that is one of the languages. That language is in high demand, and one of the interpreters did tell me that it is the national language of Haiti.
It didn't always used to be. It was just a dialect, something spoken in the street. But now it's well more accepted than it was in the past. So,
do you speak it?
I understand some Creole. I speak very little, but I can make myself understood if I'm in the presence of a Haitian family speaking French. Although they probably despise the fact that they have to hear French, they'd much rather hear Creole. But in my line of work as a paramedic, it's usually well accepted that there's some effort to communicate, and it's always appreciated. So,
but you speak French fluently.
I speak French. I speak Spanish. I used to speak a little.
And you need
Portuguese,
to speak up.
A little Portuguese. When I was visiting Italy, it very close to Spanish, so it really wasn't too difficult to understand and to be understood. So I'm not going to say I speak Italian, but I was able to be understood. That's it. That's it on my side.
Yeah, so the Dominican Republic, the national language is Spanish. It's a Catholic country. We, growing up, we followed a lot of the Spanish culture. And so it's only now that I'm, exploring more of, what my real ethnicity is, because it's pretty obvious that, we're not white. But I always knew that there was a mix of things. However, in the Dominican Republic, there's still a lot of like denial, colorism, and things like that. So it's not something that's really openly discussed, at least in like, with the older folks. So this is really an eye-opener for me, because I did know, just based on how I look myself, and my grandmother specifically, she was a beautiful Black woman, and she looked like she was from somewhere in Africa. Like, she looked like she didn't even speak Spanish. Gorgeous. So I knew, that there was, that we had some, African nations in us. I just didn't know specifically which. So I was very curious about that. So,
what was that number? Over 40?
My number's over 40.
Over 40%.
It's over 40%.
Wow.
So it changed because the first time around I was like split down the middle. I kind of am still, but there's Native American mixed in there also.
A bigger percent than it was before.
Yes, so it's like, okay, so my biggest percentage is African, and then there's European mixed, and then some Native American.
Okay.
So there you have it, guys. We are a mixed bag of everything.
Not that we didn't already know, but at least we have a much more defined viewpoint as to our heritage, and I think that's interesting.
Let me ask you a question though.
Uh-oh.
Are you disappointed?
Not in any way.
You sure?
Yeah, because I have still a huge...
No, because you identify as a Black man.
Yeah, and I still have a huge percentage of African nation here.
Does this change how you identify?
And in Togo. Not at all. Not at all.
Does it ever bother you that people assume that you're white when you identify as Black, or does it like confuse you or make you feel any type of way? Or
personally don't care what people think. I just care about what I think and how I feel.
Good answer. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah, I sure did. Doing the research and getting the results. By the way, it wasn't easy getting results from them. It took me 3 tries. I can't explain why. This is insufficient sample, I guess, is enough of an explanation. Didn't spit enough in the little test tube, but ultimately I got the results, and we just shared them with you.
Yeah, and we got these through Ancestry DNA, which is a simple kit that you can get at home. You do it in the morning, you spit in a tube, pack it up, send it in, and then you get your results through email. Maybe a month or so, a little more than 6 weeks. It took you longer.
It took me almost 6 months.
It took him a long time. I was like, they don't even know what you are.
But so if you've done it before, again, recheck your results, because they've refined the results. I don't know what they've done, but I just discovered this today, as a matter of fact. We discovered it today.
Oh yeah, because we just went to check to do this, and I was like, wait, what? Mine changed.
It's all different now.
So now I have to wrap my head around it again. That's my head. It's a lot.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, everybody, and we want to see you come back. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that button down there below and subscribe to our channel, and you'll see more interesting stuff like this and plenty more content.
Yeah, and share your stories with us as well. What was your DNA surprise?
Absolutely.
Were you disappointed? Were you excited? Were you surprised? Like, what is the reaction that you've had to it?
Share it down below. We'd love to hear your story.
All right, till next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.